just wanted to hop on here really quick to make a quick video about this topic that came to my mind when I was meditating. Is between intuition and logic, how you can better discern and how you can learn to recognize what distortions are. So distortions occur when the water is being moved by the conscious air element. So the water being the subconscious, the air being the air that is the wind that is moving the waves, right? So distortions are like different waves upon the grand scale. So the biggest wave that there is, a collective vibration of ascending, that wave is ruled by the water element. That is the crystallizing plasma. That is the fourth state of water, which is in its transitionary state. And that's happening because the photonic light energy from the sun is hitting the water on this planet. So that's why all these great solar flashes and flares are happening. I don't even know if I could say that. The CMEs are happening. Because that is what is hitting the planet and activating the cells in our body. So you got to be hydrated, one. Number two, you got to be clear of the lower information that doesn't serve the higher purpose, that is the ascension of this planet. So you got to get back to nature. That's key. Intuition is your subconscious, so it's like water, and it's something that doesn't ever change. Like, you can change the forms of water into like its 4 different states, including plasma, which is the transitionary phase. But water is the only element where it wipes out, it coexists with all the other elements. It wipes out the fire, it coexists with the father sky, the air, and it coexists with the earth. Whereas the other elements don't. The other elements have a weakness. So internal conflicts is something that everybody experiences. So when you are like stuck in the mind, you're kind of debating, you're kind of juggling 2 ideas, which is the air energy, and it feels a lot lighter on your spirit than water. So water is the emotions, and a lot of times your intuition can get distorted by your own personal emotions, what you're projecting into the situation onto your spirit, really, because your spirit is what is feeling and experiencing every single moment. So water is actually the closest element to spirit because of the way it moves. And I know it's easy for some people to think air might be because it's the closest in density, but water is actually the closest because Neptune is the final sign, because Picsis is the final sign of the zodiac ruled by Neptune, and Jupiter at night. So the water signs, actually all 3 have something in common, is that they're all super empathic, meaning that they pick up on other people's emotional energies whether they want to or not. It's like being a psychic sponge, and the downside of that is that a lot of times it can distort your intuition, which is how you feel about everything from a spiritual level. So our emotions are also tied to the mind, and certain aspects of it that can cause distortions. So if the mind is so focused on one thing, or overthinking and thinking whether it's right or not, which is left and right, it starts to confuse itself. That's the downside of air energy. The downside of air energy is that it all feels the same when you start to get too in the mind. So that's something that air signs would struggle with, which is indecisiveness, like Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius too, because Aquarius is like the oldest air sign, so it has the ability to see the bigger picture of the duality, So intuition is water. Think about it like that. How does it feel to your spirit? And your logic is the mind, which is the divine masculine aspect, which is the air element of fire. So if we're talking about elements, air and fire, those 2 are the masculine ones. But between the 2, air is more feminine and fire is more masculine. The story of Adam and Eve, I'm going back to it, is that the woman came from the man's rib. And this is actually explaining the sacred geometry of the creation, of how everything happened from a sacred geometric standpoint, which is so if you're looking at it, like, I explained it in one of my older videos, but I just want to go through it again. It's like a void, right? In the beginning it was a great void of nothingness, and then at one point there's one speck of light that is the opposite, all in one. So, but the thing is, the light came from the void. So in the first day of creation, the point had to move in a straight line to get to another point. So it became a mirror reflection, and that's when duality was created. So out of that straight line movement, which is the masculine energy moving in a straight line, these 2 points, that created the Vesica Pisces, which is the feminine, yoni, which is the gateway to higher dimensions, which is also why cats have eyes that are tied and connected to Sirius, because Sirius is our spiritual sun, that is the feminine principles on this planet, is ruled by Sirius. Whereas Apsu, which is the sun that we see in the sky, which is also a star, is the masculine counterpart. So your subconscious, like knowing, is your intuition. When you get in the sun, what becomes true? Intuition is the thing that never changes, that stays true to you on a conscious level, because it's the pull of your subconscious force. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share today. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and peace. I hope you have a beautiful day.